Alright, it is time to get the nonsense started for today. And we have had quite a time of it since last time. Like, small update on the ear thing. I have seen my doc again, and he looked around in my ear, said it looked better, at least. And that said, like, he is sending me to see an ear specialist. So that's gonna be fun. But, like, what he said he thought the issue is that it's not uncommon for sinus, infections or ear infections, especially if they get into the inner ear, to destroy some of, like, the hair particles that actually, do the hearing for you. But those grow back over time, sort of deal. So he doesn't think it's anything permanent, thank God, but is still sending me just to be safe. So, hopefully, that will help my anxiety a little bit. That said, still very much not able to hear decently. So, also, speaking of that, I just remembered. I turned the sound way down while I was listening to GDQ while farming. Let's fix that. Which, by the way, if you've noticed the ever-expanding shit on this hotbar, I just want to put out the project I'm working on. See, this is a casting robe. And it's fucking cool. I want to use it for glam. But if you look over here on the icon, there's no option to dye it. Which means it needs to be augmented. Because the augmented version is dyeable. Same goes for this chest piece. The problem is, I also want the pants that go with each of them. So here's what goes into that. There's a dungeon called Delbrum Regne, which is a post-Shadowbringers thing that drops silver coins from each of the bosses. You get 100 of those, you can turn that into a gold coin. And once per week, completing the dungeon gets you 3 gold coins. You need 5 gold coins to buy the armor sets that armor pieces I'm looking for. Damage to the hairs in your ears is also what causes tinnitus. Ah, that would actually explain a lot of what's going on with my ear. Because it does feel like tinnitus. So, hopefully that's not permanent. So, like, yeah, I have done runs enough to get 2 pieces. I'm down 2. In order to augment these pieces of armor, you need augmented pieces of another set corresponding to each piece that you want. So, like, the casting armor that I want to augment needs this casting armor. And this needs to be augmented. Okay, so how do you get these? So there's a whole zone that you can farm in that gives you bronze coins. Get 1 per fate and can get, like, about 50-ish for doing the zone dungeon area. It's not PvP, thank God. If it were PvP, I would not be doing this. But, like, this, like, zone dungeon, that happens, like, I want to say once every hour and a half, something like that. Gets you, like, 50 coins for doing that. These all cost about 20. But, you know, that wasn't too bad to farm out. So why do I have 150 on my hotbar where, like, I'm keeping track of that? Well, because that's where we get into the items that we need to augment this stuff, that I can then augment this stuff. The pants require an item that you buy for 500 coins a piece. So, to augment the 2 sets of pants, I need 1,000 coins. Want to know how much the items to augment the coats are? 999 coins a piece. So yeah, I'm gonna be farming that for a while. And that's not even the whole thing. So, like, once you get these augmented and you get the Law's Order stuff that you want, there's still another item that you need for the final augmentation. And that comes from Delbrum Reginae Savage. Here's the big problem, though, with Delbrum Reginae. Back in the day when Shadowbringers was the last expansion out there, people were running it daily. You could find a party for that lickety-split, no problem. It's a 24-man dungeon. But now, nobody runs it. It's not a part of the roulettes. You have to queue up specifically for that. Thankfully, though, Square accounted for that. Because, like, even when people were running Delbrum Reginae normally, there was not a hard, like, party composition that you had to have. Like, for most stuff, you have, like, the 24-man stuff is 3 parties of 1 tank, 2 healers, and 6 DPS. You did not need that for Delbrum Reginae. You could go in with whatever fucking composition you wanted, because you also had a bunch of items that, like, gave your characters, like, stuff that they really shouldn't technically, quote-unquote, have. For example, I've been running Warrior that could cast Protect and Shell, which are not spells that are anywhere else in the game, and, like, give me an item that boosts my DPS by, like, 90%. But also, because they anticipated that after, like, Endwalker and Dawntrail and everybody moved on, there would still be people that wanted to do this content. So, like, even the zone dungeon that I was talking about, those scale to however many people show up for it. It's like, for the zone dungeon is, like, baseline is supposed to accommodate 48 people. I have done it with a party of 4. Likewise, I have done Delbrum Reginae with a party of 7. With no problems. The problem comes when you get down to, like, parties of 3. But like, to get the smaller parties queued into Delbrum Reginae, you have to sit through a 10-minute timer, because the game looks for constantly for people to fill out that 24 person party space for 10 minutes. At the end of 10 minutes, if it can't find anyone else, it just takes who it does have and throws you in. Theoretically, you can do it with one person. Theoretically. So yeah, there is a 10-minute cooldown between runs. Minimum. And here's the thing though, like, at 7 people, you are doing enough damage to reasonably clear the dungeon in like 15-20 minutes. At 6 people, that goes up to 25 to 30 minutes. At 5 people, that's 30 to 35. If you're running a single person doing optimal stuff, that's going to take you about an hour. Which fucking sucks. So here's the thing. Blue Mage isn't allowed in. Like, they have the level cap, but they are not allowed into the area you need to be to queue up for it. So Blue Mage is off the table. And that's the base difficulty for Delbrum Reginae. And I need stuff from Delbrum Reginae Savage. However, and this is where an interesting little quirk comes into play. May has cued me into the fact that there is a thriving community on this data center, at least, that Savage is a higher difficulty, at least. There's only the 2. But there is a thriving community on this data center that actively does this content. Specifically Baldesion Arsenal, and which is like Stormblood, or Stormblood's equivalent to this, as well as Delbrum Reginae Savage. I thought when May shot me over the invite to the Discord server, it would be like 100, 200 people max, right? When I first joined the server, there were 20,000 people online. Just the online part was at 20,000. And when I joined, they were doing a Baldesion Arsenal run, which had like 30 to 40 people in a call doing it. So like, once I get to the point where I'm running Delbrum Reginae Savage for the augmentation parts, I don't think I'm gonna have an issue getting an invite. Because like, this is stuff that people are actively doing on a regular basis. It's just the process of getting ready to do Savage that's going to be more of a slog. That said, once I get closer with the base coins, I am going to poke my head around in there, see if I can't get like pre-made parties to get into Delbum Regnet normal. And like if I could somehow swing 24 strangers forming an alliance party and just steamrolling through DR normal, that would be wonderful. But, so yeah, that's what I've been working on. Also, minor note about this. If this outfit looks familiar, it's because it's from Final Fantasy XII. The Law's Order sets that you get in Bozja are the Judge armor sets from Final Fantasy XII. Like, they even have the really silly, helmets in there. But anyway. That's what I've been doing on my off time. Back to the story. Emmanuel is going through it. We had Hilda home by 8.
Honorwa, my boy. Shouldn't you be in bed?
Thank you for your concern, my lord. But I have largely recovered from my ordeal, and I have naught but several scars to show for it, which I have been told some women may find appealing.
Yeah, no, he's gonna grow up to be a lady killer. Mark my words.
I see. And to think I was worried sick over you.
More so than a Manolane. Hi, Tora. Thank you for the head pats.
I'm not sure I understand, my lord.
Well, let's put that theory to the proof, shall we?
My lord?
'Twould seem that a great many things have occurred in my absence. I thought I might begin to make amends by welcoming you in person.
The messengers spared not their chocobos to bring us word of your victory in the grand melee. I cannot well describe our elation when we heard the news.
Have a good night, Tora.
It called to mind the day we rejoined the Eorzean Alliance, when I glimpsed hope rekindled in the eyes of the people.
The Fury herself ushers us into a new era. Sir Emmerich, the time is now.
Aye, that it is. Reconvene the conference and summon Vidofnir to Falcon's Nest. We will make peace with Hraesvelga's brood and hasten this bloody war to its end.
Yes, Lord Commander.
I will send word to Artoirel and bid him resume preparations. Emmanuel, you will place yourself at your brother's disposal. He will be glad of your assistance.
Also, I keep forgetting his name is pronounced Artoriel, or somewhere close to that, rather than Artoriel, as I've come to know him.
No stopping it now, is there? We should inform Y'shtola and the others.
Also, I'm just remembering, You get two of the coolest dungeons in the game back to back.
My dear friend, I doubt I will ever be able to thank you enough. But when the conference is successfully concluded, I damn well mean to try.
He's growing! I mean, Nyx, this is Aymeric we're talking about. He doesn't get makeup tips like that without knowing how to use his tongue very effectively. And that's all I'm saying about that. Yeah, well, fandom's wrong. And stupid. Like, fandom would have you think that Xenos is nothing but a two-dimensional, villain with no redeeming qualities. And I'm not saying he's not two-dimensional, but he's not just two-dimensional. He is two-dimensional by choice. Which I find fascinating. Just wait until after the final steps of faith,
The
Nyx.
appointed hour approaches.
Aye.
She begged leave to watch the proceedings. I saw no reason not to grant it.
Should I choose to deviate from my prepared remarks, I ask that you trust in my judgment.
Have I ever done otherwise? white dragon!
Ah, how long it hath been since our peoples met thus, children of Thordan, even by our reckoning.
Vidofnir, daughter of Hraesvelga, we give thanks for your visit, and bid you welcome to Falcon's Nest.
Our sire bade us hearken unto the whispers of our hearts. They spoke to us of a paradise lost, of bonds of brotherhood which they yearned to see restored.
Ours too yearn for such a restoration, and they have guided us here this day, that they might yearn no longer.
Look at all them JPEGs.
Brothers and sisters, ye who stand as witness, hearken to me. Since the days of Eld, when the bonds betwixt man and dragon were sundered by our hand, our peoples have known only war. Bloodshed without end. Losses beyond counting, and still we fought. And still we fought. Some wounds do not heal. The dead cannot be returned to us. But we the living can yet choose another course. Here and now, we can lay down this burden, this hatred, this vengeance. Our forebears fought not so that we could die, but that we might live. So let us honor their sacrifice and spare our children this death sentence. Let us gift them a new legacy, life.
I also wouldn't say I'm part of the fandom.
Betwixt our peoples yawneth a divide deeper than the deepest abyss, wider than the widest sea. Generations will live and die ere this divide is bridged. Knowing this, doth thy heart yet yearn for peace, son of Thordan?
Look now on the legacy we would leave to our children. A dream of peace, inscribed in stone for generations to come.
I love that even Vidofnir has a shocked reaction.
Father and his beloved, as they were so long ago, happy and at peace. The dream they shared shall be ours once more.
Your bow!
child of Dravania, art thou grown so forgetful that thou wouldst forsake kith and kin and consort with the spawn of Thornton? That thou wouldst dare contemplate peace? Hearken unto me, all of you! The final chorus is nigh, and all will be held to account. All will bathe in the flames of retribution. Till the coming of that day, look you on your sins and despair, for none shall escape my wrath. None shall escape my revenge!
Seven hells. Damn you, Nidhogg.
Hells, take that worm! While he lives, we'll never know peace.
Aye! There'll be no end to this war till Nidhogg is dead and gone!
So let's kill the bastard and be done with it. Death to Nidhogg! Death to Nidhogg! Death to Nidhogg!
Death to Nidhogg! Death to Nidhogg! Death to Nidhogg! Death to Nidhogg! Death to Nidhogg!
Death to Nidhogg!
So I'd like to point out, we're making incremental steps. It's death to Nidhogg, not death to all dragons, at least. Still, not a great outcome. Also, I appreciate that the Warrior of Light's response as soon as Estinian shows up is like, oh shit, I need to be up there. And I like to think that their presence next to Aymeric is like the only thing that kept Nidhogg from burning Falcon's Nest down. Because like, Nidhogg knows the score. He's still recovering from the last beating we gave him. Hi, Cry. Thank you for the sub. Yeah, he really is. And like, at this point, it really is a mercy killing because he is physically incapable of stopping at this point, yeah. Like, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. It would not shock me if Nidhogg was never really, quote-unquote, right. If that makes any sense. Like, I don't know dragon biology very well, according to this game. But it would not shock me if he had the dragon equivalent of extreme chronic depression and or schizophrenia, if I'm being perfectly honest. Okay, so here's the thing, Terminus. None of the first brood carry the trauma of being of the first brood. Like, that is just not a thing they've really conceptualized. They only know Aetheris as their home. Midgardstormer has the trauma of being the last survivor of his planet. But that's not something his kids inherited. Like Tiamat, Vitra, Bahamut, Hraesvelgr, Azdaia, and presumably Ratatoskr all adapted very naturally to Aetheris. See, that's also not likely, because if I'm remembering the terms of Midgardstormer's contract with Hydaelyn, he was basically out of the first brood's upbringing by the time they all hatched. Like, Vitra, I know for sure, you know, never really had much of a relationship with Midgardstormer because he had already basically ascended to a different realm of being by the time he hatched. And Azdaia basically raised him. And my guess is, like, Bahamut and Tiamat are the only two that really probably knew Midgardstormer. And then they helped raise Ratatoskr, Hraesvelgr, and Nidhogg. And maybe Azdaia, depending on when each of them hatched. But, like, Midgardstormer has had effectively been close to, but not quite, a primal. Like, somewhere in between being like a normal, quote-unquote, mortal as dragons can be, and something approaching godhood. Sort of a god, yes. Because, like, he and Hydaelyn struck a pact for Midgardstormer to watch over Silvertear Lake in exchange for, you know, the first brood being allowed to just effectively migrate to the planet. So it is very unclear what connection, like, especially Ratatoskr, Hraesvelgr, and Nidhogg on actually had to Midgardstormer. Since, like, Bahamut being the firstborn and Tiamat being second, like, those two were likely the only two that really had any direct connection to him. Anyway. Oh, absolutely. Like, I would absolutely think, like, Vitra has some sort of neurodivergence as far as, like, dragons go. Like, that's just kind of how he presents. And, like, if I'm being perfectly honest, what little we know of Bahamut, he probably also had that sort of inclination as well. Probably not to the same extent as Vitra, but, like, Bahamut and Tiamat were basically, you know, in the same position with Mericidia that Vitra is to Thavnair. Just the only difference being, you know, Bahamut and Tiamat didn't hide that like Vitra did.
Forgive me. That took longer than expected. You seem puzzled. Oh, these. I thought something warming might not go amiss. It was not all that long ago that we sat here, you and I, in our very own falling snows, as Lord Horshvon called it. I still struggle to believe he is gone. And Azelle too. I had such hopes for her.
I mean, it's Alphinaud.
Master Matoya asked me what it was all for. Why we fight. And why we die.
Like, Alphinaud is one of the few people that can present an uncovered drink and not invoke trauma.
Were I still commander of the Braves, I would doubtless have replied, for the future of Eorzea. But I'm not that man. Not anymore. I needed a new answer. One that I could live with. And when I saw Estinian at the ceremony, I knew at last what it was. I do not want to be a man who sacrifices his friends and family for a cause. I want to fight for Estinian, and I want to save him. When Nidhogg leads the Horde into battle, Ser Emeric and his forces will do what they believe must be done. That is their choice to make. Yet even if Ser Emeric is willing to forsake Estinian, I am not. We must fight for him, for he is our friend and ally. We may struggle, we may fail, but we must try. Lord Orshafon would be proud. I knew you would understand. Together, we will surely find a way.
I mean, step one is beating the shit out of Nidhogg. Also, I see Cry is setting up for a Bitsplosion. There it goes. Thank you for the biddies, Cry. God, the free real estate clip gets me every fucking time. it's a whispered voice line to begin with, so considering your ear infection, yeah, I'm not shocked you didn't hear it, Nyx. More so than usual? Huh. I'll have to see if there's any slider I can fiddle with on the back end and try and fix that. Did the shut up and take my money voice clips come through at least? Because, like, there was also a Windows update I may need to... Oh, they... Okay. I need to adjust my sources then, sounds like. In fact, real quick, I'm just gonna... I might also just need to reauthorize Streamlabs. That. Oh. Stop that. Off. Enabled. Let's. I think I know what it is now, though. I'm looking at my audio mixer and I'm realizing I don't have a an audio source for the web thing. Which, given my current setup, I'm not entirely sure if I or how I want to do that. I might have to go through Mix It Up and see if there's a way to do it on that end. But excuse me. Can I just add... Copy that URL. I am going to just real quick do a test alert. Which... Let's do a bits twit test. Okay, yeah, no, that... There's definitely no movement on... my audio mixer, okay. Okay, yeah, so... The way I've got my audio set up right now, there's no way to really do that without having, like, a window open for it to capture from, sort of thing. Like, I could just have it capture all audio from, Firefox, but I would need to have, like, Streamlabs open at all times. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have to, just try and figure out a way to, do it through Mix It Up then. Which I'm sure is possible to do. That said, with that, I would be completely disconnected from Streamlabs, which actually I'm okay with. Anyway, back to the game. Got to get a chat where I can see it. Also, yes, everyone should stream. It's a fun hobby. Oh yeah, no. I read that cry. I've been on the receiving end of that too, you know. I'm well aware. I'm not as bad about it as Hime is. At least not when my ears are properly working, but... Uh-huh. Totally unrelated. Sure.
Of all the ways for it to end. Even before his transformation, I could feel the worm's hatred swirling about Estinian. The terrible, all-consuming rage. Enough to fuel a 1,000-year quest for vengeance. It was all I could do not to run away screaming. But Ishgardians, nay, all Eorzeans, are made of sterner stuff. They face danger and death on a daily basis, and understand what it takes to win a war.
Think not too deeply on Master Matoya's words. Her intent was but to steal our resolve. That, and to remind us to look beyond these passing conflicts to trials greater still, to the truth which hides at the heart of this world.
So that's your aim, is it?
You disapprove?
Not at all. I believe it's traditional for the student to follow in the footsteps of the master. And you are so very alike.
I love Kryle's shit-eating grin.
Change. That great inexorable wave was upon us, and soon all of Ishgard would bend to its will. For all our sins, for all our scars, The future for which we had long yearned was at last within our grasp. But it would be bought at a heavy price. For in those twilight hours did Nidhogg cry out for vengeance, and his brethren raise their voices for the final chorus of the Dragon Song War.
That is a sick mask, though.
We have kept you waiting over long, I fear.
Not to worry, Alphino. We had some rather fine mulled wine to keep us company. Truth be told, you could have delayed your arrival a few moments more.
Gibrion got the spicing just right this time. His latest batch is not only delicious and warming, but soothing to the humours.
Indeed. But 'twas not to soothe our humours that we gathered here.
Ah, no, quite right. The matter of that poor dragoon.
You have discovered something. A means to save him?
Let us not jump to conclusions, shall we? Assess the facts presented, then make an educated analysis, as you were taught.
Pray, cast your mind back to the moment of Estinian's transformation. Do you recall how you described it to us? You spoke of the sudden pangs which racked his body when he took up both of Nidhogg's eyes, and of how his form was twisted thereafter into a shadowy semblance of the Great Worm.
When he appeared at Falcon's Nest, the worm's eyes were fused to his mail.
Would that only his armor had been corrupted. Snaking forth from the eyes, I descried dark tendrils which entangled his very being. His ether has been all but smothered.
Then he is lost to us forever?
What did I just say about jumping to conclusions? Y'shtola clearly stated all but smothered. As I later discovered, her impression matched my own. Though Nidhogg's presence filled my mind's eye, beneath his seething aura, I sensed the merest hint of something else. And after listening to Y'shtola's observations, I became more certain of my suspicion, that the something else I had sensed was, in fact, the trace of a different will, submerged in the sea of Nidhogg's rage.
You mean?
Yes, 'tis like that Estinian spirit yet lingers.
Can we not wrest him from Nidhogg's grasp, then? Tear the eyes from the armor?
We know not if that would serve to separate Worm's soul from man's. None have ever attempted such a feat.
Should it offer even the faintest hope of success, then by the gods, I shall be the first to try.
Alphino, by all means, hold fast to your hope, but be mindful of the dangers. Even should you succeed in excising the eyes from the Dragoon's mail, we have no way of knowing if your friend's soul would survive so violent a separation. And that is to say nothing of the possibility that his would-be savior might become Nidhogg's next host.
But what other choice remains to us? Should the opportunity present itself, I will tear those foul orbs from Estinian's armor and trust in the resilience of his soul, even at the risk of mine own.
Ah, I found you at last. A messenger of the Temple Knights came to the manor some few hours past. The Lord Commander humbly requests the company of the Warrior of Light and Master Alphino.
Sir Emeric would speak with us. Very well, thank you, Onawa.
"'Twould seem duty calls. Pray see to yours, and we shall return to ours."
Thank you, Y'shtola, Kryl. Your words have given me hope where there was none. Come then, Sir Emeric awaits.
Jesus, Nyx! It occurs to me, though, because I'm not capturing the alert box anymore, I'm also not getting the, yeah, I'm not getting the audio alerts for this either. But thank you so much for the subs. Everyone enjoy. But yeah. I definitely need to figure that out then. Also a test of my audio reflexes, right? Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need to dig into Mix It Up and figure that out. Because I know I can do sub alerts at the very least through Mix It Up. And honestly, the more I get stuff through Mix It Up and have stuff stored locally, the less beholden I am to Streamlabs, who could at any moment just decide to shove a bunch of AI bullshit in there.
Alphino is allowing his feelings for this dragoon to cloud his thoughts. I worry he may do something rash. Keep an eye on him, would you?
They think more of their friends' deliverance than their foes' defeat. But will history commend their fealty or condemn their folly?
Thanks for your input, Grandpa.
The conference held at Falcon's Nest was to be a celebration of the reconciliation twixt man and dragon. But the lingering shade of Nidhogg, clad in the flesh of the Azure Dragoon, did mark the occasion by spilling the blood of his own kind. A timely atrocity to remind the children of Ishgard that the Dragonsong War was far from over. And when fear gave way to fury, the call to arms rang out anew. Death to Nidhogg! Death to Nidhogg!
My friends, I thank you for coming.
You have had news of Nidhogg?
Alas not. Our scouts range far and wide, but they have as yet found no trace of the Great Worm.
We dispatched an elite unit of dragoons to reconnoiter the churning mists, but even they returned empty-handed.
A pity.
Fear not, Alphino. We shall see the worm again soon enough. His words at Falcon's Nest attest to that. Indeed,
Ask away.
He is like to come sooner than we would wish.
I assume Ishgard's defenses are being bolstered as we speak?
With all haste. I mean to call upon every able-bodied warrior at our disposal, from the Knights of the Four Houses to the men and women of the Watch. But I did not summon you to discuss strategy.
What then would you have of us, my lord?
I will speak plain. Now that Nidhogg is possessed of both of his eyes, no mortal force we can muster will repel him. That being the case, we must needs recruit an ally of equal strength.
You speak of Hraesvelgr?
I do. To whom else could we turn?
That he is Nidhogg's equal I do not deny, nor can I name another. But convincing the reclusive creature to do battle with his own brood brother will be... how shall I put this?
It will be no small undertaking, yes. Estinian's report was most particular about Hraesvelgr's unwillingness to involve himself in the affairs of men. But much has changed since your visit to Somal, and if there is even a chance that the dragon may be swayed, I must plead our case. Whatever price the dragon asks of me, I shall pay it. Such was my oath, to defend the people of Ishgard.
No, see, this is one case where knowing what's coming, I'm like, yeah, no, let's do this. I'm all in. Come on, let's go. Because, like, to go from the anti-tower to the next dungeon just back to back, that's like two of the best dungeons in the game right there.
Come what may, my friends, the battle with Nidhogg will mark the end of my tenure as the acting head of church and state. Will you help me discharge this final duty?
Also, Nyx, in case the voice acting drowned me out, ask away! I'm always down for answering weird lore questions.
We will, my lord, though I fear our involvement offers no guarantee of success. Come then, we will depart at your leisure.
I mean, yes, that's absolutely kind of expected there, yeah. That said, he's not the only one contributing troops to the effort. What I'm saying is, I don't think he's making Estinian give birth to anything. Like, I somehow doubt, you know, given he is effectively a ghost at this point. I know that's not what your question was, but I also, like, I was pondering it in my head. I'm like, could that be a part of it? I'm like, no, he's a ghost. That probably precludes, you know, doing more breeding there.
The city is yours, First Commander.
No, I wasn't gonna say that. Like, no, this was where my head went, okay?
My lord, we shall pray for your swift return.
Okay. Yes. He was absolutely pumping out troops for that. No, unfortunately, Hraesvelgr's too much of a wife guy. And Shiva already claimed him. Vidofnir, however... You know, this text box and the combination of, like, Vidofnir's look and everything kinda hits different after experiencing Drakengard 3. Like, I realize Vidofnir is not Mikhail, however... Also, not true, Nyx. Hilda survives as well. As well as a Dragoon NPC. That honestly wouldn't shock me. Oh, you're good. Lucia also survives too, yes. Like, Lucia's a big player in Endwalker. Honestly, yeah. Non-zero chance at the very least. God, Zenith still looks so fucking cool. All right, chat. We got a 50-50 shot. Is it Moglin or Moghan? We got one for Moghan. Anybody else? Going once. Going twice. Moghan it is. So you can actually tell which Moogle it is by the color of their palm. That said, most of them are various shades of pink. There are yellow ones, but those are the Gridanian ones. Nah, the real tell is that Moglin is the chief who has the biggest palm. So yeah. If you remembered that, you would know that this is Moghan. But that's if you remember Moglin was the chief. Anyway. Gravania is so fucking cool looking, though. Yes, it will absolutely pop quiz you. That said, there is no consequence for answering incorrectly. Like, the only deviation is like 1 or 2 text boxes, that's it.
Great Hraesvelgr, 'tis not lightly that we beg this audience. Pray hearken to our words, for they concern the future of man and dragon both.
Greetings, Hraesvelgr. I am Emeric de Burrell, acting ruler of the nation of Ishgard. I am come before you to parley on behalf of my people. You foresaw mine intent.
Lis echniteg casmon ikini. Lis nuan jas an es in. Salen mon anesh. Ndahai in. Stapol I an nitek. Shin hes iso. Al nuo fa is. Seth Osk kom initeg kinan. Nosk degan en.
Hi, Tyro. That is yet another audio thing I need to get moved over. Jesus Christ. Hi! Dragons are raiding, huh? What were you playing? And like, also, nice and thematic considering we're talking with dragons about a potential raid. On Discord, yeah. Yes, feel free to give yourself a shout out. Look, I don't have custom shoutouts set up. FF7 Remake, nice.
We understand that in your despair at man's betrayal, you seek only the refuge of solitude. But despite your protestations of spent faith, do you not still nurture the smallest flame of hope?
I see.
I do. If you claim I see falsely, then tell me, why did you consent to bear Rizel upon your back?
Is Kaisia Holes Extir Valsu Nesk an in Eskba. An Snalhau Us Hesner Ikin en Elan.
So you do distinguish between those who acknowledge and repent their sins and those who perpetuate them. Interesting. It seems to me that you have not, in fact, lost faith in mankind as a whole. Rather, you weigh our respective merits by how we allow the past to influence our future.
Snoski letlai, Nalosk asisa. Ekmon kin na
All right.
Should we suffer
Have a
ties
good
of blood
work.
to bind our hands then? Nay, if the crime is one of unconscionable evil, we must needs condemn it, even should the transgressor be our closest kin. When my father corrupted himself and his followers with the power of a primal, I beseeched the Warrior of Light to slay him, an act alike to patricide. That he did not die by my hand matters little. If anything, it heaps greater disgrace upon my name. But had my father not fallen, he would have drawn countless thousands into a holy war of hellish proportions, which I hold the greater crime. Thus did I order his execution, sparing the lives of my people and yours. Alas, your brother Worm now prepares to murder those whom I sought to spare. What is more, he has taken my comrade's body for his own. But if I must slay my dearest friend to defeat my direst foe, I will not flinch from my duty.
Sekmon infin, Seskantis Ekmon, Kin al-Ud.
Sloskna, dyrkin illes, kolhes nar inish, draor in.
That fucking look.
Danitek, Garjas, Nosk in an, Slisva Holkas, Kailin na.
Yeah, no. I've had a couple of times where like I've had to do something for mom and like she is called as I'm ending and she's like, "You're not streaming, are you?" I'm like, "Well, I was."
Eskenitek, eskedia ulga an, in an, hesnesh an, eskjas ong, on inga. Al in ulwota, smahes in an. Sway in Ratatoska this die an. Slosk kin. Skor ich les iwo.
All right. It is time. I had forgotten we go from the Anti-Tower to Sork Hall that quickly. Also, real quick, just to be sure. Turn those off. So we don't accidentally skip any, cutscenes. There it is, Sorkai. All right. Heard of the demon wall, now we have demon cubes. Also, whee! I love that the Enchanted fans just stick around to do that. There's no reason for them to do that. It's just fun. Okay. Gas dragons would probably be localized more as, like, poison dragons these days. Like, I'm guessing they were based on black dragons in D&D that have, like, acid breath. Anyway. So the presence of Chieftain Moglin here as a boss has some nifty implications. Namely, in that Good King Mogomog the 12th was actually real and hung out with Ratatoskr. And when the Dragonsong War broke out, led the Mughals down to Gridania, or the Black Shroud at the very least. Anyway. Thanks for coming, Chieftain Moglin. Also, I want to point out, this is at night. Don't know why I pressed that button, but I sure did. Also, not gonna lie, this is one of my favorite dungeon bosses. And I'm actually kind of sad that I'm going to just ignore all of its mechanics. Also, it's kind of hard to spoil a game that has that little story. Also, again, this is at night. So this is actually one boss fight that has gotten reworked over the years that I'm kind of sad to see. Because if you look at the arena, it's very standard, right? When I first came here, these floating pillars out in the distance were arranged in a grid, and that was the arena. Like, you had to bounce between different pillars to dodge Hraesvelgr's attacks. It was a very fun dance. Which makes me sad that it got reworked into a more standard boss fight. Oh, you mean the war mech? The war mech that's just a random encounter in one area? The super boss that is significantly higher level than anything else in that area? That has no fucking reason to exist in that area? I might have a bit of trauma. Like, say what you will about how Omega and Shinryu were utilized in 5, they were at least telegraphed. No, Nyx. Imagine if it was SMT5 Demi-Fiend as a random encounter. Like SMT5 Demi-Fiend showing up in the level 30 area as a random encounter. That's the kind of bullshit that Warmech is. Like, in order to actually, like, hold your own against Warmech, you need to be in, like, the 60 to 70 range. You get put in that area in the level 30-ish range. Does it only go up to 50? I didn't realize that. Which is to say, I have never actually beaten Warmech. It has just shown up, stomped my ass into the ground, and made me reset many a time. I love that Moglin gets his ass kicked and he's like, yep, I'm gonna use this as an excuse to do nothing for another century. And also, yeah, the broken spells and stats and everything are fixed in subsequent re-releases. Only the Famicom and NES versions were effectively broken.
Our negotiations proved rather more strenuous than I had anticipated, but the results seem well worth the effort.
The battle was indeed hard won. Thank you, my friends. I would never have earned Hraesvelgur's cooperation had you not seen fit to grant me yours. 'Twas your stalwart heroism that moved the heart of the Great Worm at the last. Any gratitude I can offer is but poor reward for your continued service to Ishgard.
'Twould seem our final reckoning with the dread worm is at hand. I only wish we had some inkling as to when he means to strike.
Well, about that, Alphino.
Oh, gods.
Now. He's striking now.
The cry heraldeth his coming. Nidhogg's shade hath taken wing.
It has begun. We must away to Ishgard.
This is another one of those many cutscenes we'll play in sequence quests.
Aye. I must return to my city without delay.
I'm just gonna let it roll from here. I have also gotten a snack, so I apologize for crunching in the microphone if it happens.
Remember your training! We hold fast until the Lord Commander returns. Ugh. We must hold!
Reinforcements! By the Fury, that one is the size of Nidhogg.
Lord Commander!
You are late, Warrior of Light.
Watan and by E. Still walking. Nal Inga. Ale el Ikinfa and Kohes Doin. Undo Kai Omon Ikinin Kastaga Stajas Skol Hes Som. Orsk Mik In Eskia In Wan Ihe Dolun Hikin Hern Esh. Srosguan Inna. His Ingar Liskol An Nusgar Akin Sus Ul War.
I love that little look of, I'll let you handle this. This is personal. I'm gonna just watch with popcorn. I love that even the dragon's like, oh, this ain't good. Can I just say, that is quite possibly the fucking coolest setup to a boss fight. Like, the way Dragon Song comes on will never not give me goosebumps there. There it is. And the way the Dragon Song just doesn't stop when the fight starts. Like, oh, this is the game firing on all fucking cylinders. Like, I'm actually just gonna let auto attacks go for a bit to really drink in this atmosphere. Well, if ever there was a trial to have the volume up at max for, it's that.
Estinian!
Is this to be mine end? Nay, I will not allow it. I am of the first brood. I am vengeance incarnate. I am Nidhogg! Thou shalt die by my hand!
This is not your hand, worm!
Thou wilt obey! I would ask one last favor of you, Warrior of Light. Finish me, now, while I have the beast subdued! You waste your time. Kill me! It is the only way! Ending Nidhogg will be my final duty!
No! You can't die like this! I won't let you!
Soul's cry, a passion welling within. Sacrifice, a binary to her king.
The eyes! Cast them into the abyss!
Yet this bond of hope by treachery was broke, scattering her words to the wind.
He lives. Ah, Estinian, my ill-fated friend. Lucia, summon the healers. I want them ready to receive him.
At once, Lord Commander.
Allow me to do this much, at least.
Alemon Integdran, fall in.
You have my gratitude, Hraesvelgr. Your deeds this day have saved a great many lives.
Ustra udin instra rare. An hesnesh.
The battle is won. We can do no more for Estinian now than bear him home and wish him well, even as Hraesvelgr did. The rest we must trust to the hands of the healers and the grace of the gods.
Yeah, this is about where I'm going to start getting a bit more cagey with spoilers, because I know Stormblood is more of a blind spot for you, Nyx. Also, it is nice to see that the Sprout going through stuff that was in, like, the Final Steps of Faith comes out at about the same time I did. So, like, that was not an unreasonable version of the fight to experience now. If only just, you know, I went through solo. Currently 86, feels like 96, humidity 72%. Gross. Also, Nyx, show the person that claimed Nidhogg was puppeting him for over a year this text box. For many days. Like, it was a year in real time. That is not how it was meant to be narratively, though. Like, even my idea of, like, a few months is pushing it. Like, this was over the course of a matter of weeks, most. Really. Yeah, from start of Heavensward to this is like maybe 5 months. Yeah, that is one thing I really do appreciate about Endwalker specifically, is that there is a much more conscious desire to portray the passage of time, because it forces you to sit down and go to sleep and advance time a bit. Shadowbringers does that too, but it is less important there, I feel like, than in Endwalker.
The heroes of the hour return.
We but did our duty, my lord. It was the memories of fallen friends and not our heroism which saw us through at the last.
I gave every ounce of my strength, but mine efforts would have counted for naught had the Warrior of Light not arrived to challenge the Great Worm. As a sworn knight of Ishgard, I had hoped to do more for my city.
Well, we cannot all be heroes, dear brother. Let us put away our pride for a moment and revel in the valiant deeds of our comrade. For your sterling service to Ishgard, we salute you. And while we're on the subject of valiant deeds, I believe I myself have earned some small measure of recognition. Under my watchful command, the ballistas of the Outer Ward struck down a veritable swarm of Dravanian invaders.
My lord's command was certainly watchful. He bravely watched as the siege crews took aim, and continued to watch as countless wyverns met their end. Indeed, the ward's defenders proved so well drilled that my lord had little occasion to stop watching.
There will be time enough to determine who is most deserving of recognition later. Our friends are doubtless weary from their exertions. I had Chambers prepared in expectation of your return. You are welcome to retire at your leisure.
I am most grateful for your hospitality, my lord, but I believe I shall pay a visit to the Temple Knight's Infirmary. Pray excuse me.
Our master Alphinaud has grown. The plight of his stricken brother-in-arms pains him more than his own hurts. In which respect he has come to resemble you, Warrior of Light. Go then, visit the Azure Dragoon, and grant him what comfort you may.
And back we go. And now, for another mini cutscenes we'll play in sequence quest. Upon proceeding, several cutscenes will play in sequence. Let's go. Oh, that was the intent, Nyx. Like, look at the framing of this. Like, this is a fake out.
Estinian.
Cease your mewling, boy. It grates my ears.
Forgive me. When I saw you awaken, I could not... It was such a relief. We feared you might never wake up.
Now, Estinian. If Master Alphinaud thought any less of you, you would still be Nidhogg's plaything. Or dead.
Aye, 'twas but a jest. I thank you, Alphinaud. And you too, Warrior of Light. Quite how you managed to persuade Hraesvelgr to aid in his brood brother's downfall I cannot imagine. But full glad am I that you did. 'Tis an honor to share the mantle of Azure Dragoon with one such as you.
I, for my part, owe you an apology. When last we met, I did willingly loose an arrow at your heart. Can you forgive me?
There is naught to forgive, Hameric. You but acted in defense of Ishgard as is your duty. Were you any less single-minded about it, I would not follow you into battle, nor trust you at my back. Besides, I had come to the selfsame conclusion, that I would have to perish for Nidhogg to be stopped. So let us dispense with the hand-wringing. I have heard enough mewling for one day.
Oh!
The tendrils of Nidhogg's foul presence bound up every fiber of my being, usurping my senses, but I yet retained some trace of awareness. The worm's mind was as a vast and tumultuous sea. Endlessly its black waters churned, his grief and despair at Ratatoska's murder never calming, never receding. Driven by this surging current came wave upon wave of unrelenting rancor. It was the very image of my own heart. There I saw the dark reflection of the hatred I felt after Nidhogg slew my family, when no path remained save vengeance against dragonkind. Neither one of us had a choice. But I was blessed with something Nidhogg was not. Comrades and teachers to console and admonish me. Had I not had them to gainsay my obsession, it would surely have consumed me as Nidhogg's did him, and we would have been in all respects alike. Though his shade is banished, his spirit scattered upon the sea of clouds, I feel no joy at his passing. Where once I craved vengeance, I now crave rest. Lord Commander, my hunt is at an end. I would lay down the mantle of Azure Dragoon.
My friend.
He has tired himself with too many words. I doubt not that he will make a full recovery, but he must be allowed some few days of quiet.
I too must see my path to its end. Sleep well, my friend.
Following the battle with Nidhogg on the Steps of Faith, Sir Emeric called an assembly that he might make his final proclamation as acting head of state. 'Twas there, with one decree, that the 1,000-year rule of the archbishops was ended, paving the way for a new republic. The governance of Ishgard would now be placed in the hands of high and lowborn alike, their ranks represented by the newly founded House of Lords and House of Commons. Church was separated from state. The foundation for change had been carefully laid, and the reforms proposed by Ishgard's new government passed into law without incident. His duty done, Emeric de Burrell gladly stepped down from the Archbishop's dais, only to be raised unto the highest seat in the House of Lords. Though he strove at first to refuse this honor, the unexpectedly strident voice of the Count de Durandare left him little choice but to accept. And so it was that the winds of gentle revolution came to stir. Prominent among the many honored guests at Sir Emeric's investiture were the ambassadors of Dragonkind, a fitting symbol of Ishgard's newfound peace. The people looked on in awe as he soared through the heavens on Dragonback. And by their cheers did they hail him an Azure Dragoon for a new age.
Get back to me next year about that, Tyro.
Thus were the notes of the dragon song rewritten, the din of war giving way to a rising litany of peace and hope.
Okay, now that that's over, the main reason I'm not doing a 4-job fiesta this year is just I've been playing through the Pixel Remaster on my own casually and working to get achievements and everything. 3 of those achievements are real fuckers. Master all classes, which includes Mime, defeat Omega, and defeat Shinryu. And without me wanting to look up an actual strategy on how to do Omega and Shinryu, I'm having more trouble than I expected. Even with the stat boosts you get from Mime. But yeah. Also, I should probably point out that that cutscene is the last recorded dialogue from the voice actor for Count Edmund, who passed away, I believe, in 2020 during the COVID epidemic. Which makes that scene of the Count leaning back and closing his eyes and drifting off feel far more emotionally charged than it was probably meant to. And no, absolutely, like, he told Aymeric he was going away. He didn't say where, but Aymeric knew. 100%. God, the finale for the Dragon Song War stuff still feels fucking enormous, man. So that's chapter 3 done. And really, that's kind of what I consider to be the end of Heavensward. Like, I know there are still technically patches to go, but those feel more like Stormblood than Heavensward, if that makes any sense. Which is partially an excuse for me to swap jobs when we get there. But we've got other stuff to do before we swap out or off of Dragoon. Namely, we got some raids to do. It's time you go say hi to Alexander. The game knows. The game knows. Oh. Oh wait, no, it's I'm stupid. It's in Idyllshire. It sure does. I do not know. Tombs, but not specifically tombs with no bodies, like... Oh, okay. Okay. The goblins are great. Don't mind us just passing through. Yes. They are a faction of goblins. Cats does not, think it can not. No, Cat says no. Back we go. I love how fucking massive Alexander is. It's fine. Alright. Time to take our first steps into Alexander. Unfortunately, he doesn't really do dungeons outside of Praetorium. Also, of note, Alexander is a bit of a TARDIS in that it is much bigger on the inside than it is the outside. No, I don't expect it to. I'm just confirming that it doesn't. Also, the Alexander boss fight theme. Mwah. Chef's kiss. I am not opening those boxes. You can't make me. And that's where we'll call things for tonight. Figure that's a suitable enough taste of what's to come. Yeah. I'm not gonna bother with the raid tonight because it is still GDQ week. Go watch SGDQ. In the meantime, thank y'all for coming and hanging out. And until next time, y'all have an excellent evening. Take care. I'll catch y'all later.